Are you ready for an attack? Homeland Security thinks you should be. This bulletin was issued by the Department of Homeland Security in response to threats made by Iran. Of course, we all hope this is just political theater and bluster, but the fact that a bulletin was issued means there is some credibility to this. In this video, we will talk about the steps that our family has taken and that we urge you to take to make sure you are ready for whatever may come at any time. The Department of Homeland Security has issued a National Terrorism Advisory System Bulletin describing the threat of terrorism to the U.S. homeland. Are you prepared for an attack? Our local paper was flooded with headlines regarding the airstrike that occurred and the aftermath.
Iran vowed harsh retaliation for the U.S. airstrike near Baghdad's airport that killed a top Iranian general who had been the architect of its interventions across the Middle East. And the U.S. said on Friday it was adding troops to the region as tensions soared in the wake of the targeted killing.
As you can see from the bulleted points from CBS News, this situation is ratcheting up, and we're not sure exactly where this is going to end up.
Whenever we hear news like this, the first and most important thing that we need to do is to evaluate the threat, to do a little bit of research and make sure that the threat is real. This is from the Department of Homeland Security, the bulletin that they issued, and it said that Iran and its partners have demonstrated the intent and capability to conduct operations in the United States.
Previous homeland-based plots have included, among other things, infrastructure targets, cyber-enabled attacks against U.S. resources.
And Iran is capable, at a minimum, of carrying out attacks with temporary disruptive effects against critical infrastructure in the United States. And at the very bottom, it says, an attack on the homeland may come with little or no warning, which means we need to be prepared. Homeland Security outlines some ways that we can help, including making sure that we report any suspicious activity. One of the greatest ways I think that we can help is to prepare ourselves and our families to be part of the solution.
Homeland Security recommends that we be prepared for cyber disruptions, suspicious emails, and network delays. They advise us to be responsible for personal safety, know where emergency exits and security personnel are located, carry an emergency contact and special needs information with you, and implementing basic cyber hygiene practices.
When we heard the news, Jonathan and I counseled together. We decided that the threat is real and that the possible challenges that we may face in our future would be an attack on the infrastructure, including the power grid, natural gas lines, water or sewer systems, interruption of our transportation systems, and internet and communication disruption. And along with that infrastructure, other concerns included high-profile targets and terrorist attacks.
I think it's pretty clear that this threat is real, but we don't need to panic. We need to be aware of our surroundings. We need to check our preparations. We need to evaluate our own readiness and then take some reasonable steps to improve that level of preparedness. Our family plan of action includes being aware that the grid can go down and potentially could go down for an extended period of time, and we recognize the problems that this creates. We also recognize there's a potential for disruptions in supply lines, also interruptions in internet and other communications, and we recognize the importance of our personal safety and the steps that we need to take to make sure that that is intact.
This is our plan of action. Yours could be completely different than ours. We want to share with you the different categories of preparedness that we think are important and exactly what we are going to do because of this news. We should always be prepared. But when we receive news like this, it's a really good time just to check our preps because life is real and it goes on, and sometimes preparedness isn't the top priority. Water is one of the highest priorities on our list. We're going to check our water storage and rotate it if we need to. We're going to purchase a fresh supply of bottled water, check our water filters and disinfection supplies, and we're going to review our plan for additional water acquisition and transportation.
This is a good time to inventory and organize our stored foods. Also to evaluate our current needs and replenish our stocks if needed. And this is a great year to plant a garden.
Evaluate the status of your personal sanitation items. Do you have enough toilet paper and shampoo and soap? And check on your alternative toilet, shower, laundry, and hand washing options in the event that we are short on water or the sewer is down and you need to use those in your day-to-day life. If you don't have electricity or natural gas for the winter, how are you going to stay warm? Check on those alternative heating devices and evaluate your fuel supply. Acquire additional fuel and store it safely. And check on your winter clothing and blankets. Make sure that you have enough for the needs of your family.
The same goes for your ability to cook without electricity. Check your alternative cooking devices and the fuel to supply those. If the grid goes down, will you be in the dark? Check your lighting devices and purchase additional supplies if you need to.
Take a few minutes to evaluate the status of your medical supplies. Are your over-the-counter meds getting close to expiring? Do you need to buy a new supply? How about your first aid supplies? Do you need to restock those? Refill your prescription medications. If you have medical devices that require backup power, make sure that you are ready to power those medical devices.
Be responsible for your personal safety. Be aware of your surroundings. Know the locations of exits and where you can go for help. Play the what if game. What if we're driving down the road and suddenly things go silent on the radio? Do we know what to do? Do we know how to respond? This is a great game to play with the family. Brush up on your self-defense skills. And do a weapon check. Conduct a security check of your home. If there are vulnerabilities, make sure you take care of those. Do you have an emergency communication plan? Check your communication devices and also update your contact numbers. In a grid down situation, cash may be the only way that you will be able to transact business. If you need additional cash, make sure you get that.
I always need an excuse to update my emergency kits, and this is a good one. Make sure that you place an updated contact list in each of your survival kits. Go through your vehicle survival kits and your personal survival kits to ensure that they are ready to go, and always keep your gas tank half full.
Your need for backup power is very individual. Right now is a great time to evaluate that need and make sure you have what you need, including the fuel in storage to take care of those needs. What it all comes down to is being aware and ready. Take some time and have a family council to review your family plan and talk about these things with your family. Be keenly aware of your surroundings. Stay up to date on current events and take additional precautions as needed. Google the providentprepper.org for additional information on each of these topics that we've talked about today. Also on our YouTube channel, The Provident Prepper, we have great resources like the best heat sources, build your survival food supply, grid down lighting, and grid down cooking lessons. These and many more are available for your information. Take a look. Of course, our family plan is probably a little bit different than yours, and it should be, based on your unique circumstances. The important thing is that we take some time to make sure that we are ready for whatever may come. And now for the question of the day. What are you and your family doing to make sure you are ready whenever for whatever? Comment below, and thanks for being part of the solution.